Well, Sam, on a day like today, how hard is it to balance preparing the team for Sheffield United tomorrow and also to keep a watch over potential transfers?
Well, one is picking a team to try and beat Sheffield United, which is the first thing, foremost thing on my mind these hours this morning, running through with the staff and the fitness guys and the physios on fatigue levels, recovery levels, psychological levels. Fatigue is physical. What mentally do we think the players' state of mind is? Because obviously that's massively important. Their state of mind going into Sheffield United game is the most important thing first, and then their level of physical fitness runs alongside that, and then carrying out the way to play against Sheffield United with the best possible quality that they have then runs alongside that. Then we cover set plays for and against to make sure that the last thing we would like to do or want to do is let them score off a set play. I'd like us to score off a set play and to help us to win the game. I like us to score in open play, but certainly most important, I'd like the lads to stop conceding the sloppy goals that they're continuing to do so. And then I'll probably let the lads travel up to Sheffield, and I will stay behind until such time as we've exhausted every avenue we've exhausted to bring in the right players and join the lads after that.
It was a much improved second half performance on Saturday against Fulham. How important now is it, Sam, to keep that same level on a consistent basis, and especially going into tomorrow?
Well, I've talked about that since day one, really. The line has always been get the basics right. It's a line we failed at an awful lot because we get them right sometimes, but not long enough in a game of football to see us get a result out of it. We've changed the team and looked at most of the players now, and obviously new players coming in is the avenue where we will get the most help, as well as us continuing to coach the players that we already have. But the big impact of new players will have an uplifting effect by the players already here going, wow, yes, come on, we've got more capabilities of winning a game now, and that lifts the psychological doubts in the player to positive, and physically you'll feel better if you start getting a couple of wins under your belt and trying to move on from game to game from there on making sure we pick more points up.
We've seen in the last few days, Sam, the likes of Burnley, Newcastle, Brighton last night against Tottenham Hotspur picking up crucial victories. That leaves us and Sheffield United even more desperate for the points on Tuesday night. So how do you approach a game as important as this one?
It's our own fault. We are where we are. It's not the referees. It's not anybody else's. It's our own fault by being deficient at certain parts of the game and times of the game to not see a game out. To, like I said, the mentality is if you lose a game, make sure you draw it. If you're drawing a game, make sure you win it. We've been reversing that side of it, and certainly there's been two areas. Well, we can all be shortage of goals in the bottom 8. We can all have a shortage of goals in the bottom 8. But what we can't have is keep conceding goals like we concede. And all the clubs who have turned the corner, like you talked about, are getting the 1-0ers. Brighton 1-0, Leeds, Brighton 1-0 against Tottenham, Burnley 1-0 against Liverpool, and that has made a massive difference to them. I think it was actually 2-1 against Wolves, but the 1-0ers at the bottom coming thick and fast. 2-0 Newcastle, but we can't keep asking all the teams to go. I mean, Newcastle have gone. There was 11 games there to win. And what we should have done in that period of time Wolves, 10 games now without a win. I think what we should have done in that time is that's when we should have gained our points, like Brighton have done. Yeah, Fulham, no wins but drawn 6 out of the last 10. So it's 6 points. So if we'd have done that, yeah, we'd have been above Fulham. And that would have given us more confidence to go and win again. What we have to stop doing is keep losing, and we have to stop losing because we keep conceding too many goals. And the message really has to drop sooner rather than later with the players. Now, the help comes from us, coaching, yeah, and looking at the players and saying, can they cope or can't they? Finding those who can, and then continuing to improve those all as a team defensively. We need protection from the rest of the players, but ultimately the defenders need to take responsibility by saying, I need to deal with this and not give a goal away. And had they done that against Fulham, we would have won the game. And not expecting the lads at the other end to score 3. Because scoring is the hardest part of the Premier League. But we're obviously making it too easy for the opposition. And that's why we've conceded more goals than anybody else in the Premier League.
Team news ahead of Sheffield United. Sam, has everyone come through Saturday okay? Are there any concerns that you have?
Fatigue, and fatigue is we have looked at trying to look for consistency in terms of, but then when you start picking the same team, without any question of doubt, you'll fall into problems. It's impossible to keep the players going that same 11 as much as you would like to, because you would go under, and people might say, well, why can't they do that? Well, why do Man United not do it then? Why do Tottenham not do it? Why do Chelsea not do it? Why do Arsenal not do it? So all the big boys have to know that they have to rotate the teams and use the squads that they've got to keep the level of physical output and quality to win football matches. And if you don't do that, your players fatigue, and then in the end they'll fail. So we've got to try and make a few changes, bring a few fresh legs in, and start from the very beginning against Sheffield United to try and win.